How's it going, everyone? What you're going to see today is a breakdown of the engineering kit for Battlefield 4. If you've seen my previous recon one where I've broken down guns, the attachments on those guns, the equipment, sidearms, and everything else I use for it, then the formula will be basically the same for this, with the addition of basically, the differences between the two kits. And I'll break down all the further kits coming up in the future. Today, obviously, as you can tell, as I've already told you, will be engineer. The very first thing I'll do is break down the guns, the carbines, and that I like to use. And the one I use primarily the most is the one you're looking at here, the AK-5C, and that's because it's a middle-of-the-pack carbine. The fire rate on it's very easy to handle, but it's still quite good when you look at it. When you look at the actual fire rate here listed on the side, it's 700, which means it's great accuracy, especially in bursts. And it's like I said, it's a middle of the pack gun. Nothing good, nothing bad. Very middle of the pack. A great player would be deadly with this, and even a person that's not as skilled can still be quite good with it. The other two guns that I use, if I'm not using a shotgun, which would be the 870 MCS, would be the MTAR, despite the fact that I haven't used it much lately and don't have all the unlocks for it, but I'll show you what I would use for it. And the PDW of choice I use is obviously the MP7, because the MP7 has just that incredible fire rate, and when throwing a laser sight on it just makes it so accurate in close quarters. It's extremely good. The AK-5C in this would pretty much be the same loadout for the MTAR. I use the Coyote sight because basically that's what I choose for max success for me. You can choose whatever you want as long as you're actually being effective with that particular sight. Subjectivity is a beautiful thing here. When I'm looking at the laser sight here, that's basically because, well, it's obvious compared to what you had. You could choose the canted iron sights, the magnifier, the flashlight if you want to blind people. But the actual laser sight here is what I choose, and the reason being, this gun's fire rate and firing in tap fire or burst fire gives you an incredible versatility over medium and long range. But in addition to the laser sight attached, which actually is the 25% reduction in hip fire penalty, it makes it a close quarters beast too. Just don't get matched up against higher fire rate guns and you can probably come out of there the victor most of the times. Right now I have the flash hider on because it actually reduces the bullet speed penalty, or it reduces the flash generated by the weapon without the full-fledged, increased bullet drop that a silent or a suppressor would. The muzzle brake's a nice option as well. The reason being, if you're going to fire this gun in burst or tap fire anyway, then you won't have to worry about the accuracy penalty. But this gun doesn't even need it. It's a laser beam anyway. Of course, you can equip the suppressor if you want to stay off the minimap, decrease your sound signature, and most of all, it's a great flanking tool. So that's a really nice one to have as well. For good or for bad, I tend to shoot on the run a lot, and it does affect accuracy, but putting on the ergonomic grip here reduces the hip fire penalty by up to 50%, so it's really nice to have for me. And it gives you the best of both worlds. When you're actually moving around, you have the 50% reduction, and when you're not and you're stationary tap firing, you're deadly there too. Best of both worlds and versatility make you a much better player. And the paint, of course, is up to you. What you choose to do is your choice there. Your sidearms, of course, your best friend no matter what kit you're using, and the P226 is my best friend, and that's just for a comfort level. Other pistols are full auto. Other pistols, like the Shorty 12G's, basically a mini shotgun. The 44 Magnum is a 1 or 2 hit kill over range, but again, the P226 is just a comfort level thing for me, and comfort breeds success. Comfort's more important than what the actual weapon output is, because if you can't actually reliably fire a 44 Magnum accurately, then it doesn't matter what benefits it's going to have over the P226. So that's that. The SRA is the rocket launcher I use, basically because it's a tow rocket launcher. Incredible damage, and you can control it the whole way. You can hit little birds miles away for one-hit kills. You can hit tanks quite a bit away, and you can lead your targets with it. It's a fantastic launcher once you get used to the practice. The only downside being is that in close quarters you actually have to keep the lock maintained, and that's why if I'm using close quarters battles against armor or infantry, or mostly armor I guess, I'd use the RPG because it's fire and forget. You can fire it quickly, get back behind cover before the tank even knows where you are. Stinger for those pesky helicopters, and of course the slams or the mines if you want to set up traps for tanks or throw them at choke points and say parasail storm bridge so an attack boat runs right into them. But again, that's up to you. The repair tool is always in my gadgets though. One of the two will always be the repair tool, and that's because usually when I'm running engineer, I'm not running it as infantry, I'm running it as keeping my vehicles alive or keeping my teammates' vehicles alive. And the easiest way is, well, using the repair tool. The other benefit to it as well is if you're trying to steal or destroy an enemy's machine or vehicle, the repair tool will help you out there as well. Oh, don't leave home without that repair tool. The V40 minis for me are the best hand grenades, and they might get nerfed, but it's an 80 damage if you're in the blast radius. 2 of them will kill you even if you're on a med pack, and you get 3 of them. You can use, of course, the incendiary. They're not as great when taking damage, but they're great for masking anyone using an IR, an infrared scope, or something of the sort there. They're also good for flushing out a room, because it won't kill them, but it'll get them out of that room. Up to you, though. Knife is purely cosmetic. The reason why I always choose the mechanic field upgrade is basically for the level 1 section here, the fast repair. Speed and sabotage of vehicle repair is increased by 35, and that has helped me countless amount of times and will continue to help me countless amount of times. The cover, basically reducing suppression by 50% and flak damage by 15 is a really nice tier as well. Like I said earlier, I don't really use engineer for infantry for the most part, but if you were offense or defensive, or if you like to flank a lot, shadow would help you out, but I always usually stick with this. Camouflage is of course up to the map. It's just another way for the enemy to have a miserable time trying to locate you, so try to spec it to the map. But if you just want to look cool with certain one, I mean, power to you. I'm not going to stop you there. And that's basically the rundown of my engineering kit. Of course, it changes map to map. It might change as the ebb and flow of the map changes per time I play. But that's my average if you told me to pick an engineering kit. That's what I would use. Hope you enjoyed.